All right, let's talk about how to multiply complex numbers. So if you got a couple complex numbers here and they're multiplying, you're going to multiply these the same way that you would multiply other binomial things that you're probably used to multiplying at this point. So like if you had x plus 2 times x minus 3, you're going to multiply the first two terms, then the outer two terms, then the inner two terms, and then the last two terms. Some of you call this FOIL. Okay, we're going to do the exact same thing here. What's interesting is that we're going to finish with a complex number that only has two parts to it. And how will that happen, you ask? Well, you'll see. All right, so let's, I'm going to color code this. So we're going to do red first, then we'll do green, then we'll do yellow, then we'll do blue. Okay, so the red terms, when they multiply, 6 times 2 is 12. The green terms, when they multiply, so 6 times 5i, that's going to be 30i. The yellow two terms, when they multiply, that's going to be 6i. And then the blue terms, when they multiply, that's going to be 15. And then I times I is going to be I squared. Okay, so let's collect some stuff here. So we got 12 plus 36i plus 15i squared. And so we should end up with a complex number, right? We talked about this in our intro video. What's amazing about complex numbers is that if you multiply two complex numbers, you should finish with a complex number. What's weird here is that this is not a complex number. And the trick on this is to remember, so remember that I squared is actually -1 because the square root of -1 was I. So if you multiply I by itself, you'll get -1. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to rewrite this. This is 12 plus 36 I plus 15 times -1. So it's not -1, it's times, I'm saying it's not 15 minus 1, it's 15 times -1. Okay, and from here, we've got 12 plus 36i, basically minus 15. So if you do 12 minus 15, that gives you -3 plus 36i. And look at this, the result is, forgot to put my equal signs all the way down. The result is a complex number. It's got a real part, and then it's got the imaginary part here, 36i. Okay, so that's basically how you multiply complex numbers. You're just going to distribute and multiply like you would multiply any two binomial expressions together like that. Let's do a few more examples. Okay, so multiply 3 minus 2i times 7 plus 3i. I'm just going to start putting in the color codes here. So when we multiply the red parts, we'll get 21. When we multiply the green parts, we'll get 9i. When we multiply the yellow parts, we'll get -14i, because -2i times 7 is -14i. And when we multiply the blue parts, we should get -6i squared. All right, so let's simplify a little bit. So 21 plus, not 9. Let's put these together. If we take positive 9i and -14i, we would have -5i. So I'm going to actually subtract 5i there. And then from here, we've got plus -6i squared. Let's put minus 6i squared, and then we'll simplify from there. So 21 minus 5i minus 6, and then remember I squared is -1, so we're just going to multiply there by -1 instead of I squared. So this will be 21 minus 5i. Gosh, I keep forgetting my equal signs. And then, so if we have -6 times -1, this is going to be plus 6. So our final answer here would be 27 minus 5i. All right, let's look at another example. Multiply 4 plus 4i times 2 minus 3i. Okay, so we'll do those two first, then those two, then these two, then these two. All right, red parts. So we've got 4 times 2 is 8, plus the green part, 4 times negative 3i, that's going to be negative 12i, plus 4i times 2, that's going to be 8i for the yellow there, and then plus 4i times negative 3i, that's going to be negative 12i squared. So this will be 8. If you have negative 12i plus 8i, you're looking at minus 4i there for those two. And then this will be minus 12i squared. I'm going to do 8 minus 4i, and I'm going to transform that I squared into a negative 1. So I have 8 minus 4i, basically plus 12. And again, right on cue, I forgot the equal signs. 8 plus 12 is 20, minus 4i. Pretty straightforward. Let's do a couple more. Okay, so number 4 is saying to expand 2 plus 3i squared. So basically what we've got here is we've got 2 plus 3i times itself. Please, oh my gosh, so many of my students put 4 plus 9i squared. They're like, well, 2 squared is 4, and 3i squared would be 9i squared. Please, please do not do that. That is like the most common and frustrating mistake that students make. You've got to actually write this out. So 2 plus 3i squared is 2 plus 3i times itself. Now, to be fair, you will get a 4 and you will get a 9i squared, but you're also going to get stuff in the middle. So let's do this the right way and actually multiply it out. So 2 times 2 is 4. There's the 4. But what you guys forget is you forget this middle 6i plus another 6i in the middle. Let's do that in blue. Okay. All right, so you get 4 plus 6i plus 6i, that's 12i, and then plus 9 times negative 1. And this is going to be 4 plus 12i minus 9, which is going to be negative 5 plus 12i. All right, one more example. 2i minus 3 times 4 plus 2i. The only reason I'm including this one is because this is a little backwards. We're used to having that number first. If you want, you can rewrite it as negative 3 plus 2i times 4 plus 2i. That's fine. I just multiply like normal. It doesn't bother me a whole lot. So I'm going to just distribute like I normally do. So the red parts are going to be 8i when they get multiplied together. The green parts are going to be 4i squared. The yellow parts are going to be minus 12. Let's do plus negative 12. I know it's the same thing, but I got to be consistent. And then the blue parts here will be plus negative 6i. So if I do negative 3 times 2i, I get negative 6i. All right, let's combine some stuff. So this is a little backwards here. So 8i minus 6i is going to be 2i plus 4i squared minus 12. So this is going to be 2i plus 4 times negative 1 minus 12. And this will be 2i minus 4 minus 12. So really what we've got here is negative 16 plus 2i. All right, that's how to multiply complex numbers.